Society and Economy, Social Conditions. The famous historian John Guy once wrote in the Oxford History of Britain that England was economically healthier, more expansive, and more optimistic under the Tudors than at any time in the 1000 years, and the Elizabethan era is often depicted as the golden age in English history. If this is really the case, it is primarily because the century saw an impressive burst of population expansion. Population of England almost doubled between 1525 and 1601. More importantly, the growth did not so dangerously exceed the capacity of available resources, particularly food supplies, as to precipitate a malthusing crisis. With a rising population, the increased manpower and social demand stimulated economic growth and the commercialization of agriculture, encouraged trade and urban renewal, inspired a housing revolution, and cultivated new and exciting attitudes among Tudor Englishmen. While England reaped the fruits of recovery of population, however, serious social problems were also encountered. Population growth and agricultural commercialization have created inflation, speculation in land, enclosures, unemployment, vagrancy, poverty, and urban squalor, which were the most pernicious evils of Tudor England. In the closing years of the Tudor century, stability had begun to breed instability through structural decay, setting the stage for social upheaval with the gap between the rich and the poor widening. The Tudor legacy of meager public revenue and endemic corruption in the central bureaucracy was ultimately ameliorated by the events of the Civil War and interregnum, which will be discussed in the following lectures. Cultural climax. Apart from economic vigor, another important dimension to the goodness of this era lies in its cultural eminence. The English Renaissance and the flowering of literature, especially in the fields of poetry and drama, reached their apogee in the Elizabethan era. The poet who best synthesized the ideas and tendencies of the English Renaissance was Edmund Spenser. His unfinished epic poem, The Faerie Queene, is a treasure house of romance, allegory, adventure, Neoplatonic ideas, patriotism, and Protestant morality, all presented in a variety of literary styles. The ideal English Renaissance gentleman was Sir Philip Sidney. He was a scholar, poet, critic, courtier, diplomat, and soldier, and died in the battle at the age of 31. His best poetry is contained in the sonnet sequence Astropole and Stella, and his Defense of Poesy is among the most important works of literary criticism into tradition. As far as drama is concerned, this era produced a gallery of geniuses that best represent the brilliance of literature in the century. One of the most well-known playwrights of the time is Christopher Marlowe. While his literary career lasted less than 6 years, his life only 29 years, Marlowe has left us from his short but brilliant career 7 plays and 4 long poems, including 2 translations. Focusing on heroes whose very greatness leads to their downfall, Marlowe wrote in blunt verse with a rhetorical brilliance and eloquence superbly equal to the demands of high drama. The achievement of Christopher Marlowe was enormous and surpassed only by that of his exact contemporary William Shakespeare. The immortal William Shakespeare, another mirror of the Tudor, received a great influence from Marlowe. Author of 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narrative poems, Shakespeare has exerted greater influence on English literature and European drama than any other single writer. His history plays, comedies, and tragedies set a standard never again equaled, and are now performed and read more often and in more countries than ever before. His dramas centered around everyday world of life, death, money, passion, stage business, and alehouse. His characters displayed awareness both of experience in general and of themselves as the particular agents of unique experiences. His language is eloquent, vivid, and forceful, with a tremendous vocabulary, a corresponding sensitivity to nuance, and a singular aptitude for coining neologisms and penning. Shakespeare's great contemporary, the poet and dramatist Ben Jonson, once commented, "Shakespeare was not of an age, but of all time." Obviously, this prophecy has been fulfilled. Now it's time to summarize today's lecture. Here are some key points. Tudor England was economically healthier than the preceding ages, and the Elizabethan era is often depicted as the golden age in English history. While rising population stimulated economic growth, it also created pernicious social issues. Apart from economic vigor, another important dimension to the goldness of Elizabethan era lies in its cultural eminence. Poetry and drama reached their apogee in the Elizabethan era. The poet who best synthesized the ideas and tendencies of the English Renaissance was Edmund Spenser. Philip Sidney is the embodiment of the Elizabethan idea of gentlemanly virtue. Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare are geniuses that best represent the brilliance of literature in the Elizabethan era. Marlowe was the foremost Elizabethan tragedy of his day and has greatly influenced William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language. Elizabethan literature is one of the most splendid ages of English literature. That's all. See you next time.